Hi there, thanks for tuning in to learn what goes on behind the scenes of a seaside scavenge. My name is AJ and I hosted the first scavenge back in 2015 in Sydney, and we've definitely come a long way since then. This webinar is going to run through the scavenge handbook and the toolkit so that you can navigate them both and decide whether you're up for the challenge and also find the answers you need. If at any point you have any questions, please jot them down, and if I don't cover them through the presentation, then please send them through. Before we get into the handbook, I want you to understand what sets the scavenge apart from other cleanup initiatives and why it's so important to keep it that way. For those of you who haven't made it along to a scavenge or are new to the concept completely, Seaside Scavenge is a clean-up and clothes swap event where the litter collected becomes the currency to purchase pre-loved clothes, toys and other goods that have been donated by the local community. This incentivisation and litter currency concept means that over 82% of participants who register at the scavenge have never previously attended a clean-up event. This is so important because it means we are able to introduce a new audience to the damaging effects single-use plastics and the fast fashion industry are having on our environment, and hopefully inspire them to change their consumer behaviour. We want to ensure that the Seaside Scavenge doesn't become a generic term for a clean-up event. So there are a few ingredients that are core to the success of the scavenge. Obviously, the clean-up component and the accompanying signage, equipment and volunteers to facilitate it are essential. Secondly, organising the pre-loved pop-up market and facilitating the litter currency concept is just as important. This involves organising a drop-off location where community members can donate clothes, books and other goods, as well as allowing yourself and your team the time to sort and hang the clothes pre-event. Organising live local musicians to perform for the duration of the event is essential to create the good vibes that the scavenge is so well known for. It does wonders at attracting passers-by and gives the green team, who are volunteers for the entire day, some really nice background beats to work along to. We want to maintain a very strong message about avoiding single-use plastics and opting for alternative options such as pre-loved clothes when it comes to fashion. So the scavenge events are strictly no waste and slow fashion orientated. What that means exactly is if you want to have food or coffee vendors at the event, you'll need to organise alternatives such as a mug library and a wash-up station for reusable ceramics. Also, in terms of prizes or stalls at the scavenge, anything being sold has to be pre-loved, so no new clothes, books, toys, etc. can be donated by businesses unless they're bound for the bin. Lastly, we've worked really hard to build the Seaside Scavenge brand to what it is today. So in handing it over to you, we really hope that you take the responsibility of running a scavenge seriously and respect the requests we've made throughout this handbook. Particularly ensuring the safety of the green team, the participants and anyone else involved is essential. Please carefully read through the health and safety PDF and organise a qualified first aid officer to be present for the duration of the scavenge. Okay, so now the house rules are out of the way, let's get into it. The place to start is section 4. The checklist will give you a realistic idea of the commitment and level of involvement required to host a scavenge. Everything from the hours it takes to the team you'll need to support you to the community contacts and potential experience that will help. Building a team of passionate and committed people to bring the scavenge to life in your community is essential. We've broken the roles down into the head or the lead coordinator, who would most likely be you. They're responsible for the timeline, liaising with the Scavenge HQ, ensuring all the core aspects are organised, and basically the success and safety of the scavenge falls on this person's shoulders. The heart is someone who is potentially already active in the community and has contacts with relevant groups. These groups may be green groups, they may be land care groups or active waste warriors or active local Indigenous representatives in the area. You'll want to check with them that the date you've selected doesn't clash with anything they have on, and basically engage this group to promote the scavenge to their networks and also promote the opportunity to obtain second-hand donations. The legs will be responsible for liaising with businesses and musicians. If you decide to get prizes donated, drinks sponsored, plastic-free pledges taken, or you need equipment donated from Bunnings, this is the person to follow up with those. They'll also be responsible for ensuring a lineup of live local musicians to perform throughout the duration of the event. The hands will be responsible for the promotion of the event. This may require a touch of creative flair to produce a Seaside Scavenge banner and the branded t-shirts. The hands will need to liaise with the Scavenge HQ to set up the Facebook event, create the promotional flyer, and write the social media promotions calendar as well as the media release to engage traditional media to promote the event. When you get this team together, you'll need to decide on a location, date and time in September to host the Scavenge. We suggest giving yourself at least 3 months to prepare. All events are required to take place in September to coincide with a month of scavenging that will be happening around Australia. You will need to have confirmed your event with the Seaside Scavenge HQ by June 15th. For locations, think of somewhere that has a high level of foot traffic, is near a waterway and has some grass and shade if possible. When you've got the go-ahead from us and the community groups to confirm there's no other clashes, then you'll need to submit the event permit application through councils. There's 2 ways you can locate the permit. 1, head to your council's website and find it by searching event permit. 2, give them a ring on their generic number and ask to be connected to the event permits team. Explain what the event is and that we're a registered charity with public liability insurance. Ask for an event permit application, how we can organise waste bins, free of charge, and if they can connect you with the waste and sustainability team, as they will hopefully be interested in promoting the event. When completing the application, there will be a request for a wet weather date. You'll need to discuss this with your team as to what you will do in the case of rain. Will you postpone the event, and if so, what date? Throughout the handbook, there are references to the toolkit on the G Drive or Google Drive. To access the toolkit and also set up your own group's G Drive, you will need to create a Gmail account if you don't have one already. The toolkit contains all the collateral materials, email templates and Excel spreadsheets to set up a scavenge. The toolkit is split up into pre-scavenge, scavenge and post-scavenge documents. There is also a copy of the Seaside Scavenge Constitution, an example of the stakeholder spreadsheet, and a document explaining how to access the G Drive that you can share with the people in your group. We recommend that you create a separate shared G Drive with your own team of scavengers to track progress of the event. You can copy the stakeholder spreadsheet template into your own G Drive, and each heading can be managed by one of the team members. To fill in the spreadsheet, we recommend compiling a list of businesses and their contacts using Google Maps that are within a certain proximity of the event. For community groups, we suggest asking local council for a list of active groups in your community and checking any community notice boards around town. For musicians, we use Facebook. Look through the events section of local pubs and bars and check for any live local musicians that have performed. You'll often find a link to their personal page through which you can contact them directly.